Chilly here with Sirius Telus Moon. This is full hour Saturn day. Sun Rahu. Sun Rahu conjunction. We had a preparation for a war with Iran sirens. It was really funny. The way it went was 8 and something, big siren. My phone goes, and I need to go to the bathroom. Then my mother needs to go to the bathroom. And then I need to go to the bathroom. And I say, well, the stairs is the safest place because anyway, if it drops and everything is compound. and and then we find out that there are no missiles. Now, I always, as a good astrologer, I take a look at the chart. Was Saturn for the world, and it was the ascendant was on the ruler of my seventh and fourth, and I'm like, okay, if something drops, it's on our building. When the ice is next to my moon, and so, and I'm like, okay, that's not looking pretty. And Mercury retrograde is 22 in with Venus, um, so it was a pretty funny time, and I was both cold and shaking. And I'm like, okay, it's missiles. Missiles is okay. At first, it was like a lot of warm applause to the World War. Um, yes, but the bombs fell into Iran, so that was our morning. And now for a little bit of an energy reading because Lilith is applying to square the nodes. Right now, Sun is conjoining Rahu, and Sun is the heart and matter of the heart. Now, Sun also rules leaders, also rules celebrities, also rules the eyes, also rules fathers. Um, and Sol Rahu means that we are destined to encounter our heart. In Pisces is the water of preconception, particularly with Jupiter in Cancer. So we are destined to embody the heart. This is why the energy readings are so profoundly profound. I don't even know if I published all of them. And in the background, it can be even because people try to accept, or people try to see authentically, and it can even come from shadow work where people try to authentically see what's happening or authentically accept someone for who they are, and it can come across like, yes, they are so and so and so and so, but I love them, or and it's not there yet. Now it's a stage where we try to do radical acceptance, and we say, yes, this person is like this person is like this, but with radical acceptance emerges another understanding. Now some of the people already get that. And it confronts people, particularly with Lilith in Sag. It's kind of like somebody, let's say, I don't know, a lady is walking with a short skirt, I don't know, and revealing clothes or something like that, and people think, oh, she's this, she's that, or somebody can say, yeah, she's like this, but I like her. None of them knows her. None of them know her. And those who do understand that is not only not the appearance, but also, how should I say that? they have to shed the projections they have even on themselves. Yes, to reach the heart of the matter. And it can be whether somebody raises a certain topic to discussion or, okay? Because love that is actually loving, and this is what this episode is about, and this is why tyrannical or power abusive regimes, economies, negate love. They use love as bait. They use love as the approximates. But love that is actually loving is basically stripping away these power structures. And people might hold on to their... Because Sun is with Rahu, people might wonder if it's real or not. And to embody the heart negates power abuse. And yet we all want to embody the heart, but we're not quite sure how to get there, because Sun is with Rahu. And we are aware of where we came from. The ruler of Ketu is with Venus, has to do with even femicide. And people try to project. It's not people try to project. People not trying to project, but people need to dissolve the projections to get to the heart, which is why malachite, for example, it's a good crystal to deal with psychosexual issues, is also very well worn on the heart. Okay, because this is where those issues are resolved. But to get there, we need to shed a shit ton of dumbfuckery. It's the heart alignment that aligns the lower chakras, or in Rudolf Steiner world, the Luciferian and the Ahrimanic. Okay, it's where basically when we align the Luciferian and the Ahrimanic, we transcend Peter-ring culture, regardless of our birth, or people Klingfeld, or okay, the sexual energy is an all-encompassing bodily experience. Um, okay, so perhaps through that green blackish crystal called malachite, which by the way is found in abundance in many places, including Congo, that's having a serious issue with embodying the heart within, before the external things. But perhaps through this crystal, we can understand how a crystal that raises all the psychosexual issues to be confronted is also a crystal of love. Love and trust Um, if 0 degree Aries is like zero rape, zero slavery, it's kind of like that's the thing that changes everything, but we don't quite know how to get there. Malachite is more about the how to get there. It dredges up these topics. It dredges up these topics because it is purifying the path to the heart. People that have, like me, issues with the wisdom teeth, okay, that stagnation is basically stagnation of love, of heart embodiment. That is, for people that have Sedna associated with Sun or ruler of the sun, they may have grown up in societies that are trafficky, and trafficky also in ethereal ways. And that can create dissociation from even, or what is wisdom teeth? Person brushes their teeth, brushes their teeth, brushes their teeth. Okay, wise goes to the dentist, your teeth are good, amazing, and then there's something there. What is it stopping them to do? It's stopping them from kissing, from being intimate. Why? Because something to do with the heart alignment. The place of, it's not just to love and be loved, but also to love and be loved as who we are in a society that has personality codes. This is why people associate the wisdom and the last teeth, understood, associated with what they call narcissistic relationships. But essentially, what's underlined what people call narcissism or borderline is a ritual abuse that affects, like ripple effects of trauma bonds or relational traumas since upbringing. And Sun Saturn, difficult aspects can result in those things or result in wisdom teeth issues. And then one way or another, we're going to run into the people that have a harmonious aspect to our Sun with their Saturn. Particularly the people that have this problem. But because of the things mentioned previously in episodes, even the charts sometimes find it more difficult to be transcendent, where there could be simple solutions. And this is because, yes, a love that is actually loving does not exist with hand in hand in a healthy and thriving way with organ trading, human trafficking, pittering, okay, offshore business creating terror and infiltration of the military or military that sells economical hitmanship rather than defense, authentic defense on sovereignty. And we were grown to believe that the basis for life existence, which is love that is actually loving, is utopia. When the Soviet Union fell, there were a lot of discussions that says, oh, people sold their bread for this, and so people not used to freedom, bogus. People immediately were having all kinds of, if you watch Elvira on YouTube, she says people immediately began to have all kinds of social organizations and so on and so forth. And then came the trampling. I have colleagues like Krasia Tasio, who's from Bulgaria, and she describes that the fall of the communistic regime brought even worse things. It's not because of the fall of the communistic regime, it's because both of these worst things in the communistic regime was the same oil company's conglomerate in different phases. She can't say it, but for her, as a household owner in a country, she was just looking at how was life before and how life after. But this is also because Slav countries still haven't transcended confronting the intelligence, raping daughters, and then to make them espionage, and then the parents cut contact with the daughters. Because of these things done to dissociation, it can look as the anomalies of sexual violence as either avoidance or hypersexuality. Actually, my colleague Lada addressed this in a different way, where she stated she used to be dressed. She said, I was dressed like a whore, but having sex life of a nun. And what's underlying the topic of what people call self-respect is zero rape, zero slavery. Western countries that are like this, that are more like the Slavs in that perception, have the same problems as the Slavs. Oligarchy. What? Okay, we're about to war. Okay, no.
אז צריך לדעת, אני לא יודעת, ללכת למקלט, לא ללכת למקלט.
אפשר ללכת למקלט. אפשר ללכת למקלט.
לא ללכת?
לא יודעת, אם תהיה אזעקה, אפשר ללכת. The same thing, just a bigger missile. Okay. Everybody already knows. Everybody already knows. They're surveilling our nervous system. What is מרגלים? At the age of air, everything's transparent. So, and this is where, continuing with the topic of Malachite, the recovery of the heart. First of all, when our heart is aligned, then we are more conscious. Now, I'm not speaking from a point as a broadcaster and astrologer. I'm not outside of this energy reading. Okay, this sun, Rahu, in Pisces affecting me. Okay, I had synastries that have their Rahus to my sun. So I have been experiencing this sun Rahu for quite some time. And we can't dissociate the heart from neither the genitals, neither the down there, nor the up there. And this is why heart aligned is, yes, embodiment of sensuality. And it's nothing that can be confined in religious dogmas where the monks or the priests have susceptibility to be pedos because they don't confront issues of zero rape, zero slavery that would yield completely different economy. This is how come we have building coal mines 2026. Now, coal, of course, has the same components of diamonds. Okay, so it's not like we have nothing to do with coal, but when you talk about carbon, food stamps, then we understand that all of us are called to embody the heart, and all of us are not quite sure of how to get there, because with Rahu, we're not quite sure of what does it feel like to embody the heart in these circumstances. Um, and and what releases from addictions is embodiment of the heart. And with that, the dissolution of the economies and structures and religions and political structures that were, and technological codes that um, disallowed embodying the heart. Okay, because they thought it's not economic, but actually, brought by societal collapse, we see that this embodiment of the heart is not economic. It's embodiment of the heart. And with embodiment of the heart, one cannot embody the heart and enslave. One cannot embody the heart and rape or allow somebody to be raped in the community or by their business. And one is full to believe, to deceive themselves, that they embody the heart when they allow, okay, those things to happen. And one cannot complain about cheating, treason, and all the heartbreaks in the world when they uh, support the structures that allow this embodiment of the heart. Now, each and every one of us is guilty of all of the above, but not by immediacy. Okay, for example, I don't know where was that Malachite mined, and even if I did, we still don't have the access to the mining of the minerals to ensure that the labor in the mines is with human rights. I can only hold the crystal and connect with the embodiment of the heart to support from the mining of the minerals. And I can only seek that crystal to try to reach that embodiment of the heart. Same goes to rose essential oil, to put in one hand on my heart, one hand on my lower abdomen, and all of these things that are supposed to align us with the heart. So, and here it causes people, they need to deal with all of their projections on the world. All of their projections also on the sexuality of people. All of us are confronted what we thought we need, what we actually need when our heart is embodied. Um, and the sun exalts in Aries. Aries is a sign of sex. It's a Mars sign. Sign rules our bloodstream and our genitals. To be who we are is also doesn't go hand in hand with either genitalia mutilation of any religion, whether it's the clitoris or the penis. Forced gender change, forced sex change, ritual abuse, and sex trafficking. In marriage or not in marriage. Okay, one cannot say, "Oh, I'm aligned with my heart. I'm loved. I'm loving," and things that are not aligned with sovereign, with sovereign honoring of, or whether self-trust in any way self-trust, or the sexuality being in place for the only aligned with heart and with a place of embodiment and love. And of course, this place of embodiment confronts people with everything they ever did. And was done to them. But the one and only solution is that those things that they did and were done to them stop. Since that is the precondition to world peace, it is also the precondition to world war. Okay? To fund for the war, and so on and so forth. A war that's funded for by trafficking has pirates winning only. And it goes both in indigenous, not indigenous, white, black, orange, yellow, and even beige. Because this confronts us with, up until now people are saying, oh, we did what we had to do, but now we're confronted with something bigger. With love that is actually loving on a global scale, we don't have to do those things that people had to do. And that is what the war is about. When I said this war is about zero rape, zero slavery, in the beginning I said sexual sovereignty, but apparently people make of that trafficking houses, and that's not what sovereignty in regard to sexuality is about. Sexual sovereignty is only what aligns with the heart and the sense of self. And indigenous communities that allowed their members to be raped and trafficked, not indigenous and not indigenous. Okay, I talked about how trafficking organizations that were Jews, the trafficked Jews, created, and not just created, extorted the Nazis to commit the Holocaust. Because they looted a lot of money, which they use also in the foundation of Israel. And we see the implications now. Nothing that allows things to be raped is sovereign. And all of us are dealing with these things on a global scale right now. We cannot embody the heart, and this is the difference between trauma bond, where defense is as bait, or where defense is as property, or where defense is to loot, and a love that is actually loving. Again, they can be defending because this love that is actually loving. Okay, yes, the thing is, it was created in circumstances where the love they created basically closed conditions where the loving act would be horrendous. Um, and that pertains to the previous reading. So I also began to refer to the fact that even with ritual abuse survivors, those that did not shed the concept of, particularly for them it was a whore, because they would rape the boys and call them whores, they would rape the girls and call them whores, they would rape people and blame them in their own rape, even in youth at-risk institutions. And those that came out of these societies and did not shed the concept of whore have not embodied the heart and have not recovered. And I'm not saying that as shame or blame. I'm saying that as the recovery is to understand what was beneath that was rape and programming of people to have misplaced arousal. And the various judgments that people had to those things where the curation to relaxed arousal and love that is actually loving, embodying the heart, goes to understanding that was that what they call whore is basically um, the ritual abuse, and that projecting that onto people is a part of ritual abuse. So basically, that's still perpetuating ritual abuse, whether it's in same-sex relations, or same-gender relation, or different gender relation. Um, I'd even go beyond reclaiming. For some people, reclaiming, yes, certain concept works for them for a while. I think, again, I could be wrong. I think that this, first of all, reclaiming cannot be done by coercion. There's something about this Aries that calls to shed what we never were. Okay, there's something way more authentic that doesn't, if you think about Groucho Marx, okay, that said, if you don't like my opinions, I have other opinions. A lot of us found it funny. A lot of us were very cynical about the world from survival reasons. But there is something here that calls to go beyond Groucho Marx to who we really are. At the same time, it is also very survivalistic times. So it's that duality. Sun Rahu is meeting in a decan of Pisces that has to do with how should I say that? One could see it as Hitler and Eve Braun. Okay? But it's not necessarily even this. It's a deacon that reminds us that we have allies on the other side of whatever side we are. But the sun emphasizes the heart. It can be leader, it can be father, mainly, even whether it can be celebrity, whether it is or it isn't, it's the heart. Okay, but it's not about, let's say, if somebody is a king, it's not about their power as a king. That could be useful, but it's not about their power as a king. It's about their heart that aligns. That's the sun. And it's not something that can be trafficked, that can be okay, this is not honeypot frequency. Now, many people across the world see that as very different things. It can be confessions of people that they are participating in, okay, that they are groomers, let's say, or it can be, because it's authentic heart frequency. It's not. And authentic heart, like I said, right now it's in Pisces, but Sun is also in Aries, because it's the I am, and I am where my heart is, and I am where my heart is, and think about war zones where people masquerade their location. For example, in Israel, the GPS during the war, it was showing, oh, now I'm in Alexandria when I'm in Tel Aviv. And in wartime, also where our heart is hidden even to us, because it's like an encryption that sustains the self, that sustains the heart, and that sustains the love in wartime. Okay, we can see the mystery in the duality. Unlike other times in history where people could be fantasizing over the myth, or I don't know, reading the poetry, reading the books, here we are living the mythical times. And it is exactly about that, when people say, but you're terrible to me. You're okay. Think about it. If somebody talks about zero rape, zero slavery, da 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 da, and they mean that, body, heart, mind, sex, and soul. Of course, the juxtaposition. Okay, but in the polarities. Okay. Like I said, this is the Eve Braun and Hitler times. Okay, if you think about it, usually women, what do they want? Buy me flowers. Yes. Um, and so on and so forth. But in here is denazify the entire earth. including and particularly yourself. And it's not a requirement. It's not like it just can't actually realize without. It can, the derivatives can, but the okay, the components materializing in spirit, incarnating in spirit and in matter, at the same time in space, in a way that's actually loving, and get away with it. and, and again, it cannot be. There cannot be ego war or power abuse in love that is actually loving. But of course, because Sun is with Rahu, all of those things exist. Okay. Whereas somebody has your heart, they're keeping your persona very tightly with them. Okay, for what? This is mine. This is mine. Who is that person? We can't say it. If they show themselves, they suddenly have to act mean. It's not their upbringing. It's Standard Oil. And now because I say it's mine, I got it. Now they're proud of it, and it becomes an ego thing. You don't get to have you. I have you. I have. So, um, yeah. Um, with Sun Rahu, people may ask, is it real? Is it not? Well, very likely it's real, but to realize that we need to embody the heart. And that sheds a lot of things that our egos were attached to, because it requires us to love, to understand and resonate with love that is actually loving, not in a spiritual bypass way. And it also strips away all the mundane concerns, because in such circumstances, people actually do not know someone who is with who, or if somebody is with somebody. Like, people actually don't know. if something is a cover-up, if something is not a cover-up, if um, or why is this thing showing in my life? Okay. Yes, more on that I said in the previous episode, but and in the background there is this to kill and be killed agree with women and children. Um, Particularly in like, why am I getting daycare centers? Daycare centers. Daycare centers. I know Haymanut Kassam was kidnapped from such a place. Issue with women and children and to kill and be killed around daycare centers. Why they though? Daycare centers. And it's hour of the sun. Venus hour. Yes, Venus hour. I don't know. Let's see world news. Okay, peace within reach. Everything I run. Sudan rejects measures to impose alleged Israeli sovereignty over the occupied West Bank. It's very interesting for Sudan because it means that it will need to be two Sudans. Um, any peace in Sudan would be very exciting if it is authentic peace. Peace can only be. Oh, okay, this is the one. Mama, let's go to the miklat. Mama, the miklat. Okay, so with all this hard embodiment, let's welcome the World War.